Hello, dear Cancer. I am Jamie Dawn, your revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your October 2021 horoscope. And we kick off the month with Mercury retrograding in Libra, making a natural square to your sun, moon, or rising sign. And I'm placing the sun on the first house, rising sign also. So look at this as it applies to fourth house issues for you. Now, granted, personal natal charts are very different because you could have a Leo rising or Virgo rising or whatnot. So that will change the house. But this is a generalized reading for Cancer. You're going to feel the energy in some way, shape, or form, even if I'm referencing certain houses that may not apply to you. So consider this, fourth house. We're working with foundations. We're working with our past. We're working with ancestral roots, the psychological foundation that was built in us from an early age. And so now, as many of us are experiencing life and becoming adults and all of that, what we're looking at in that fourth house, it's usually a revisiting with Mercury here of past issues. And so it could be literally your home, but I would say most likely it's more psychologically. Where do you feel that you belong? Where do you feel at home? And with this being a Libra influence and a square, there may be tensions between what you see you present to the outside world versus what's actually happening internally for you. And you may be looking at past issues from relationships that have triggered you. Maybe there's been some confusion. Maybe there's been a feeling of abandonment or fear, worries, all those things that can make you nervous, especially with Mercury here working the mind. And so it could be that some of the information that flows in, you have to speak truth to it. And maybe the truth is you have to see something for what it really is. And in doing so, it helps to heal this past issue. For instance, you could have some friendships that may have fallen to the wayside and you're wondering what has happened. And maybe it stirred up some emotions of abandonment or feelings of anger or, rejection, things like that. And so really looking at what are the relationships that make me feel like I belong. And first and foremost, we always talk about how we belong to ourselves. And then we can attract the relationships that complement that. And I would offer that this is a great time for us to revisit that and to look at it from a new perspective, especially as we have a new moon in Libra. And this is also going to be canoodling with Mars. So there could be an intensity and a passion that is driving you, Cancer, to create win-win situations. Maybe you reach out to this particular relationship that has felt abandoned, or that maybe there's an issue regarding your home, like you cannot move forward until you settle this. And so Mercury retrograde, new moon in canoodling with Mars is a great time to be able to settle and get certain projects, certain things done, and do it in a way that can be a win-win. And I would say this could be literal for a home project. Maybe you're wrapping some renovation up or selling a home, signing papers. I realize Mercury retrograde, they say don't do those sorts of things. But if it's something that you have been working with for a little while, it's actually perfect time for you to wrap it up. Just make sure that you get the details that need to be managed. We then have Venus moving into Sagittarius right after this new moon happens, and Pluto is stationing and going direct. So all of this energy of the new moon in Libra activating your fourth house, then Venus moving out of your fifth house and into your sixth, activating your daily routines, also making this beautiful sextile to this new moon, then I have a feeling that you're going to be looking at new ways in which you can finally put the past behind you, move forward in relationship, whether it's relationship with a romance, because some of you may have started dating somebody and you're ready to deepen that relationship and you had to resolve something in the past and now ready to set up a new routine with this person. Maybe you're going to see them more often. Maybe you're going to invite them to move in with you, deeper commitment, that sort of thing. And you'll feel that power coming back. Maybe you've held yourself back because you were just getting to know them. Perfectly normal, perfectly fine and healthy. And now you're ready to have a little bit more lightness and fun. And you knew you couldn't do that until you settled something from the past. if some of you who are coupled have been dealing with a particular issue that has created conflict or confusion for you, this is actually a beautiful time at this new moon in Venus and Sagittarius, Pluto direct, for you to be able to revisit and renegotiate some of the terms or some of the ideas that you two maybe couldn't get on the same page. And now with Venus in Sagittarius, it's going to have this lighter mentality to it and feeling to it, because you're going to be looking to open and expand the mind. So you may come up with, if you felt like you didn't have certain choices available to you, that now they can become available. And I would say that, having this sort of carefree attitude that Sagittarius can embody also allows you to just take life a little less seriously if it felt like it was a little too intense with Venus in Scorpio. The good news is that with Venus in Scorpio, it did hopefully allow you to bond really deeply and even more emotionally with someone special and somebody that you really care about in your life, and maybe just find more pleasure from the things that maybe are a little unusual, but it allows you to find wholeness. And then here we have, like I say, Venus in Sagittarius in the 6th house. And it's going to hopefully create a little bit more of a lightness in your daily routines, maybe in your health. Maybe there's been something health-wise that you've had to deal with, Cancer, that needs to have a solution. And now you're like, I've got the answers. Now I just need to put that habit into practice. And you can do it in a fun, lighthearted way. Maybe there's some form of competition that is going to give you the health focus that you want. So let's just say, if you're looking at it from a health perspective, you may decide, instead of just, joining a gym, maybe you want to take on a marathon, or maybe you want to do something that allows you to compete in some way. So it gives you a bigger goal, and you'll find that you have the energy and the power to do it with Pluto moving direct here. And keep in mind, Pluto's been retrograding in your 7th house, further emphasizing this whole relationship partnership dynamic, and it is making a square to your 4th house. So it could be that you are revisiting some of the places in your relationships where you felt powerless, that now you are able to find that solution, that answer. I would say this particular thing, this doesn't apply to every Cancer who's watching this, but many of you Cancers who have either separated and haven't divorced yet, or you're waiting to sell a house and it just hasn't happened yet, or there's something around a relationship decision that hasn't quite happened yet. This is a beautiful time for this to get wrapped up for you, and it will be final. It will have, it doesn't have a sense of anything lingering here or any sort of confusion around it. As I mentioned, the Sun and Mars are going to be canoodling during this time as well. So it's going to add this extra oomph of intensity to get things completed and get things done. So do make sure that you channel this energy into as much positive output as you can, because the one thing with this Sun-Mars canoodle is that you do have to watch out. If Mars takes over the shadow side, the Sun's shadow comes in and they merge together, because this is very subjective. And so you could find that an external situation, influence, something that somebody says could trigger you to get really incensed, and then watch out for damaging actions or words, that because the ego could run amok here. And so you may find that, especially if you're in a work situation or you're going toe to toe with somebody in your everyday life, that what might end up happening is you say things or do things that you may regret later. So do just pay attention to that. Also, Saturn will move direct October 11th, and this is going to be in your 8th house. So Saturn has been pulling in and asking you to really look at what is intimacy for you? What's your idea of intimacy? What do you know about trust? What do you know about value on a really deep level? And now with Saturn stationing and going direct October 11th, you should start to see that all this internal work is finally going to pay off. It will probably take some time. and there may be some cleanup that has to be done. But remember, Saturn wants mastery, and it takes discipline, and it takes hard work. But if you're willing to just keep plugging along, you may find that some of the conversations you end up having with others and some of the way in which you are really getting more clear now about what is it that creates the greatest sense of security and intimacy for myself, and now I can communicate it with others, that you'll find you'll be able to manifest. Maybe there's a partnership that deepens, or maybe there's a loan you've been waiting for because we're dealing with joint resources, that you can actually finally, get the approval, or you get the payout, and now you can spread the wealth around. The other thing is, this is just more emphasis on resolution from the past and stepping into a new reality. And this new reality has everything to do with other people's resources. I would say that it also could be that maybe you've been asking for a raise or a promotion. You've been working really hard for it, and it's just been stagnant. And so this is an opportunity with Saturn moving direct, that in the next couple of months, you could be given that raise, you could be given that extra time off, or whatever it was that you were trying to negotiate, but you were dependent on others. And it just seemed like there was all this internal frustration because you wanted certain things to happen and they just weren't. Now, the other extra boost to this is that Venus is going to sextile with Saturn on October 13th in your 6th and 8th house, further emphasizing for me, Cancer, that this has a lot to do with your daily routines, your health, your habits, and your coworkers. So because you spend so much time with work, most of us do. So this is going to give you an extra boost. Venus sextiling Saturn is a beautiful aspect of longevity, of what increased need for connection and relationships, and that there could be something bigger than yourself to be activated. And that you're proving to whoever it is that you're in partnership with on a deeper level, whether it's personal or professional, that you can be trusted. You are responsible. You're a responsible human being. So if they give you the money, you'll spend it wisely, or you'll save it wisely. Or if they give you the emotional security, you're going to make sure that you do everything you can to protect and to allow that person to feel safe with you. Now, Mercury stations direct, and Mars will trine Jupiter at this time, and Jupiter goes direct all on October 18th. This is where I'm going to say fortune favors the bold. So if you have been using the Mercury retrograde to revisit certain things internally, now it's time to share what you've learned about yourself, what you've learned about belonging, what maybe you've learned about your past that can now benefit the greater good in your life. So whoever the greater good is, whether it's personal, professional, both, family, all those things, I definitely feel as though you will have this wonderful chance to be able to share with as many people that will listen what it is that you know to be true for yourself. This also could be that some unfounded fears that you could lose a partner, or that somebody near and dear to you is abandoned or could walk out of your life, or that sort of thing. And remember that fear is false evidence appearing real. The mind is very active and has a wonderful way of creating all kinds of situations before they even happen. And then once they actually happen, it really isn't as bad as our mind made it out to be. So do watch out for that. But I would say that communication and collaboration during this time can lead to really big decisions and expand the future possibilities in relationships or finances. Now we have an Aries full moon, October 20th. This is going to further activate your 10th and 4th house. And so here you're going to be looking at your private versus public life. The self and other are highlighted here with an Aries full moon. And remember that full moons are for releasing, letting go. And it may be that what you're releasing is you've held something close to your chest when it comes to your own personal life that now you're ready to announce to the public. And this could be maybe a relationship that you've been sort of dating, and now you're ready to announce to the world, hey, we're actually a real couple. It could be that you've been working on a home project, and now you're ready to say, hey, everybody, come over to my house and let's celebrate. It may also be that you're looking at maybe some family dynamics that you're reaching out to a family member you haven't seen in a while, or you haven't talked to in a while, and you're saying, listen, here's some things that I've learned about myself that I want to share with you so that we can deepen our relationship and that we can really be on the same page. There's also an indication here that radical self-love leads to deeper connection with someone special. So this may be a time of the full moon where you express yourself through different love languages, if you will, and that allows those who are dependent on you, who want to feel at home with you or that they belong with you, they're going to go, wow, that person really loves themselves. Therefore, I know they can love me the way they say they do. The other thing is that courage and passion are highlighted because we're working with Aries, which is ruled by Mars, and it needs to be released through lovemaking, peacemaking, talking about the things that feel beautiful here, because we are dealing with the Libra Aries energy. There's also that sense of, I want to make a statement, I want to stand out, and we need courage to do that. Remember that fear and courage live on the same axis, so that also can stir up, I feel afraid of rejection. I'm afraid to tell somebody this, but I'm going to do it anyways because that's the courage. At least you know, right? Now, we have the sun moving into Scorpio on October 23rd. This is going to be in your 5th house. This makes a natural trine to your sun, moon, or rising sign as the sun moves through Scorpio. And then Mars moves into Scorpio, which is a traditional ruler, October 30th. So your 5th house at the end of October is going to be super highlighted. So if you are looking for ways to have more fun, if you're looking for ways to date or maybe, and I say date, even if you're coupled, you want things to feel a little bit more pleasurable you're going to be looking at sex in this kind of way, a casual, sexual kind of energy, but it also, with Scorpio here, there's an intensity to it. So you're not going to mess around when it comes to, I'll say, casual dating, love affairs. I think you're going to be ready, whether you're coupled or single, to go really deep with an individual and to kind of secure. I think that's the biggest thing I sense, even though I know it's a very Cancerian trait. You need security, but this is an emotional security with another individual. Now, it could be, if you're not dating or you're not coupled with anybody, that you just want to feel emotionally secure with your finances or emotionally secure with your job. Totally get that. And with the sun and Mars in Scorpio here, the best way you can do it is to stay in your integrity. Don't take anything at face value. Go really deep under the surface and trust your intuition. Scorpio is extremely intuitive, just like you are. It's very watery, right? We're dealing with water energy. And remember, water can move into all the different cracks and fill them in. Therefore, keep in mind that your intuition is what will give you some information that allows you to be able to gather things that don't necessarily appear to be solid in that moment. So this is also a time where loyalty is rewarded, betrayal is punished. So if you've had secrets or someone has been withholding a secret from you and they share it, you're going to make sure that, one, you find out what the truth is, and two, if it's been a lie or you feel betrayed, well, woe be to whoever that was for you, because something tells me you won't compromise. And I do hope that's not the case for you. But if it is, just know that the truth sets us free. And that's what is most important, that better the devil we know than the one we don't, right? There's also a sense here where I would say when it comes to relationship dynamics, I'll finish this month, this scope with this, and that is, when it comes to your relationship dynamics, there's no more gray area. There's simply either we're all in or we're all out on whether it's the relationship itself or it's on a particular topic. But either way, you're going to hopefully walk away from the month of October with great clarity by the end of where you stand with a particular relationship in general. All right. I really hope that this helps, Cancer. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, and find me at jamiedawn.com. I look forward to connecting with you. Have a great month.